Hey everyone, Patty here, full-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Macari, better known as Girl Hustle on YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about selling vintage stockings. I'm going to be sharing some of the ones that I have on hand, and then at the end of the video I'm going to be sharing some tips. I'll be telling you the kind of stockings that sell for the most money. And yeah, so let's get into this. I'm sure you heard the words stockings, nylons, pantyhose, hosiery. Give you a little bit of information about each of them, and then I'm going to get into the video. Back when I started selling on eBay, probably 98, 99, picked up some different things, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to sell. I got a pack of nylons, it was a box of Hanes nylons, and I posted them on eBay. I listed them as an auction. I started the auction at $9.99. I knew nothing about them. Back then, there was no researching or any of that kind of stuff. I never did it anyway. Well, I shouldn't say I never did it. I just did it in a different way. Back when I started selling online, I would research in a way where I would look for, I didn't look at sold listings because it was so long ago. I don't even know if they had that option available on the site at that time. But I would look for items that had the most bids on, and then I would look at all the categories, and then I would look at the brands, and I would look at everything that sold. So basically it ended me up on the vintage lingerie section, and that is what I started selling. I sold so many beautiful pieces of lingerie over the years, and I still do, but I've kind of gotten into other things too now because lingerie prices have went up. But anyway, so I picked up a pair of nylons, and they were Hanes in a box, and they were 10 cents for the box, and there was only like 3 pair in the box. They ended up selling for $78. So I was curious why they sold for so much. I know they're collectors and this and that, but so I ended up messaging the person, and I said, can I just ask you why you spent this much money on them? And I know I shared this little piece of information in another video, but it fits in with this, so I thought I'd share it again for those who didn't hear it. But anyway, he had told me that he had a website actually with models and everything, and they sell these for a much higher premium than what I had gotten. But he went on to say that most of the collectors look for the flat knit stockings. And I'm like, well, how do I tell the difference? I didn't know when I asked him. I said, how do I tell the difference so when I'm out looking, I know what to look for? He told me that the flat knit, when you hold them up to the light, they have a square pattern in the stocking, and they're much smoother on the legs than the mesh. The mesh has the dot, like if you hold it up to the light, it has like the diamond knit. But from then on, I have found so many amazing finds with stockings. And anyway, I'm going to share with you today some of the ones that I have picked up. I don't have this account that I had back when this happened anymore, but I'm going to share some of the stuff that I got on hand with me now. Of course, it's hard to find. They're very hard to find now, but you can find them if you know what you're looking for, and that's why I'm doing this video. Hopefully it will help you to find some good ones to let. So the difference between pantyhose and nylons. Pantyhose go from the waist down, and they, including the feet. The nylons, they come up to your thighs, and the nylons can be the stay-up nylons where they have extra support at the top of the thigh, or they can be the ones that you need a garter belt for. So when you're doing your listings, make sure that if you're selling vintage stockings, I always put stockings in the listing and or hosiery. However, I always write, if they're pantyhose, I do write nylon pantyhose. I won't write nylons. But if they're nylons, I'll put the nylons in the description. Because some people will ask you, well, are these nylons or are they pantyhose? So you have to know what you're looking for. So the nylons are the ones that come up to your thigh, and the pantyhose will go from the waist down. I'm going to share with you some of the ones I got and some of the things to look for. Another thing that I do want to tell you that, and I know I'm all over the place with this, but you will get questions from some of the collectors. Some of them you'll come across them, they won't be in packs. They might be in a box, and the box might be open. They may ask you, what's the size from, even though there might be a size on the side of the box, they may ask you what's the size from the welt to the heel. And you would just measure from the top of the stocking down to the heel and give them that length. Tip, this is a really big tip I'm giving you right now. Look for tall. Tall sizes sell better than any of them. Tall, flat knit are very good sellers. If you can get them in blue, extra tall, these are ones that are highly sought after. Cuban heel. The Cuban heel, you'll have the tan colored stocking, but the Cuban heel will have either the black extra knit on the bottom, only on the bottom of the foot, that comes up to the back of the ankle, or it could be even the color of the stocking, but it's darker, and it's usually like the whole foot up to the back of the ankle, kind of like an extra kind of a support. But yeah, Cuban heel, and you want to look these things up. Look up the welt of the stocking, look up Cuban heel. I'm going to get into showing these stockings. I know I'm rambling on a little bit here, but sadly, I don't have any of the flat knit that are out of the pack to show you, because they sell like hotcakes and they're hard to find. But I found so many of them over the years. You just got to know what to look for. And I know now you can get stockings. Another reason, this is stockings and nylons pantyhose. They are one of the things that I go through every thrift store. Every time I'm out, I never forget to look for them. Never forget to look for them. They're very good sellers. You're going to have both men and women buying them. Most, and I'm just being honest with you, most of the people that do buy them are men. I don't care. I'm happy with all my customers. It doesn't matter who buys for me. But another thing with these, if you can get them at very low prices, you can sell them different brands, separate it in lots. You can make big lots of them. You could sell them separately. I usually do $9.99 on them, but if they're good ones, I go up to $24.99, and some of them I'll start at $50. But these ones right here, these are just like $9.99 ones that I'm starting these ones at, because they're easily found. But there is some vintage ones in here. But I just want to show you some of them, so let's do it. Some of the packs that you will find will have the dates on them. Some of them don't. These are JCPenney sandalfoot. You'll see on the back, they show you kind of what it looks like. Now this is a kind of a harder this is a harder size kind of to sell. It's queen short. But I like to have those odd kind of sizes in my inventory because I like to fit everybody if I could. So you'll see the color of the stocking is usually up here, and it'll have it on the, you know, on the thing over here, on the tag over here. Also, the sizes are on the back. I used to write in my description, I used to read these things like the size, the weight, and all that, and do it, but I just take a picture of it. I take a picture, I put a picture in my snapshots, and then in my description, I'll refer them to the sizes to please see pics for sizes and more information. I do backs and fronts of the pictures, and these ones are JCPenney, not too old, probably the 80s or the 90s. But I never pass up stockings. If I could get them for $1 or under, and if I can get them for 50 cents, I buy a lot of them. Hanes Silk Reflections. Tip number 2, Hanes in the box. If you find Hanes in the box, do your research, because you don't want to just start them at $9.99. They can go for $50, $60, $75, even up. So Hanes in the box, take them out. I highly don't touch them if you can. You can, but touch them at the top of the stocking, because they're, you know, you don't want to have pull them with your fingers or anything and get any kind of a pull in them for the customer. But keep them in the wrap. They come wrapped up in the boxes with little tissue paper. I keep them in there. If they're in a box and the box isn't sealed with anything, I don't take them out, but I will show them the open box with them still wrapped in their little pieces of tissue paper. If they're flat knit, what you want to look for is 15 denier. Actually, denier, I'm not going to get into the whole basics of that, but it's how much yarn it's knitted from ways with the fabric. So, but 15 denier, you'll see numbers like you'll see 400, you'll see, you know, a lot of that's with mesh and stuff, but you'll see different numbers on some of the stockings that are on the boxes. Excuse me. 15 denier is a good one to look for. You'll get used to what different take some of them out of the pack. If you can get them cheap and they're not the flat knit or whatever, take some of them out of the pack. Look at the stockings, see what they are, see how they're knit. You'll get used to the different kinds of knits, because another good knit that sells is, they're knits, but they have different patterns on. Like from the 80s, you might see diamond patterns, but they're like, you can feel them. Like they're textured, I should say. But yeah, this is some of the stuff that you want to look for, different stuff. But 15 denier is a good number to look for some nice flat knit stockings that'll help you make some good profit. All right, so here's another Hanes, and these ones are found in all the thrift stores. This is Hanes 2, and you see their style guides are different. When I'm doing a listing for vintage stockings, for example, I will say vintage Hanes 2 stockings pantyhose, nylon pantyhose. I will write if there's a size, I'll write the size in it, like if it's queen, tall, you know, I'll write the size in it. I do also write in my vintage stocking title, I will write if it's flat knit mesh, or if they're tights, or whatever. I'll also add hosiery in there. Another thing I will say is RHT, which means reinforced heel and toe. So you'll notice on some of the stockings, and it will say on the package if it's RHT. Some of them are only reinforced at the heel, some of them are on the heel and the toe. I do put this in the title in big letters because it matters. People search for ones that are only reinforced on the foot, so please be aware of that. Here's a little bit of an older Hanes, not too old, but it's just $10 a piece on them, $9.99. Now this is another one here. This is no run, no more runs. You can tell this is kind of an older one, as seen on TV pantyhose. Different. That's the reason I got these ones. And you see how it shows the rows there, pulling at the stocking. So I'm not going to hold you up on all the Hanes here, but I want to show you there's different types of Hanes. Like these are day sheer, there's sandal foot, there's different. You have to look at them and get to know your stockings, because I'm telling you, stockings are worth selling. They're worth it. I've been doing it for years. I'm telling you right now, like, I do not leave thrift stores without stockings. I look for them. I search them out. There's a big market for them. Look at the sold listings. Now these are hug along. These are a control top pantyhose. Some people look for different things, like they need a, you know, more different kind, more control. These are silky sheer. I know you see these a lot at the thrift stores. I just want to share them with you because I actually got 3 packs of these. So these ones I will have in a lot. But take notice, this is where you'll find all your information that you will put in your description, besides, you know, the brand and everything. But this is the important information up here. The color is going to be up here. The size is going to be up here. Oh yeah, I got more. 2 more packs of them. Okay, Burlington. See, this is an example of textured ones. They have different little patterns on them. Now here's an older one. Not too old, but I picked this one up because it's vintage and it's textured. And you see how they give you a picture of kind of what it's going to look like. Nationals, this is a brand that sells pretty good. There's like, I have like 6 pair in here. You'll see these a lot out at the thrift stores. Here's Hanes Plus. A lot of these Hanes, I know I'm showing you a lot of them. A lot of these Hanes ones are selling, so look at them. You might, you know, some of them might be going for just look up the Hanes stockings. Here's some vintage ones. Here's some vintage. These ones are older than those other ones, but these are vintage. This is what I mainly, when I'm out looking, I buy them. I buy those newer styles if I could get them like 50 cents or so. Sometimes I'll pay $1. Usually if I can get them for 50 cents, if they have half off day or whatever, I'll get them. But these are the ones that I will pay $1 or $2 a pack for, because these ones, the pack's a vintage pack. It's a vintage, you know, so these are nationals and they're seamless. That's another thing. So seamed stockings sell better. The seam that goes up the back of the leg, if you could find them in the black, the tan, any of the colors, but flat knit, if you could find flat knit stockings with the seam up the back of the leg, good money. Like good, not $20 kind of money, like $50 and up kind of money. So look for seamed stockings. If you find them, pick them up. This one specifically says seamless. Just another Hanes. Got it anyway. Never heard of this brand, Loblaws, but has 2 pair. Also on the pack, it'll tell you how many's in the pack. You want to make sure when you put that in your listing that it's just not, you know, if they're, now these are knee highs. I'm sorry, these are knee highs. So you want to say 2 pair of knee highs or 2 pair of stockings. Some of them will have more than 1 pair in, and you can't really tell unless you actually read the pack. Also, the size that sells good over the years is the size 11. 10 or 11, but mostly 11. They sell good. All of them will sell eventually, no matter how you do it. Even if you're sitting on them a while, if they're not selling, put them in a lot with other ones that you have. They will sell, I promise you. Now here's an older, a vintage one. Now these are Cantrice. These are kind of like you see here it says it might as well be skin. It tells you a little bit about the stocking and the sizes and what it fits, what these stockings will fit. And they're now in pantyhose, so I guess they used to only be in the nylons. These I'll put like $14.99 on these, because that's stuff you're not going to see all the time. You're not going to come across them. I'm sorry I don't have any of the flat knit ones to show you, because I would have loved to do that, because I love selling stockings. Like, I love selling stockings because they sell. Some of them you might sit on them, and some of them you have to wait for the right buyer, like a collector market. You do have your working women that buy them. A lot of it's collectors though, especially if you find the vintage ones. I don't know, these came from a pack. I don't know. Ones I've had for so long. I think it's because of the size. They are petite. I had them for so long. I have 2 packs of them, but they're cute. But I do have inquiries about them. Like, you know what I mean? I had them listed on, I don't know if it was Poshmark or wherever, but I have questions about them I get, but no buyers yet. The last ones, these are just some tights. I usually don't specialize in tights. They do sell though. I just don't usually go out and pick them up, but I picked these up because they were hot pink, and I have 6 watchers on them, and I had a few questions about them, so who knows. Anyway, don't pass up the nylons. If you can find them, even if you find them in bags and they're not separated or not in no packaging, get them. If you could get them cheap, pick them up. Even those ones, those legs, they used to be in those eggs. They sell for good money now. The ones that are in those little boxes, I should have brought them in, I forgot. But yeah, so hopefully you got a little bit of information. Basic things that you want to look for are the flat knit stockings. Mesh does sell. All these kinds of stockings will sell, but you might have to wait a while for the buyer to come along and buy them. But they do sell. Some of them sell faster than others. Hanes in the box. Basically any stockings in the box that are vintage. Scarpelli or Sharpelli, however, I think it's Sharpelli. You want to look for, I sold so many boxes over the years. In the box, do your research before listing, or even you could send me an email, comment, I need your help. I'll tell you, don't just list them at $9.99, because you could get some good money for some of them. But anyway, hopefully this helps you. I'm trying to think of some other things to tell you before I leave. Much detail in your description. Give good pictures with them. If you're not familiar what you're doing with them, look at how other sellers are listing them. Look at the ones that sold. Look at the sold listings. And yeah, so hopefully this helps you. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe.